Good morning, everybody. My name is Vega, the Programs Manager for the Arts Engagement Department at the Old Globe, and I am very excited today to be launching our very first Creative Youth Studio workshop. This is going to be a free weekly series running through the end of Thanksgiving, connecting young artists to industry experts to help further their arts careers. And so on today's episode, we are doing a binational arts career focus, and we'll be discussing what it's like to be an artist in a border town like San Diego and TJ. It's a very special place, a very unique place to be an artist. And I'm actually very happy to introduce one of my favorite people in the world. Her name is Alejandra Enciso-Dardashti, a binational consultant in communications through PR, production, and translations. She is also the founder of Enciso Consulting, and she also hosts a bi-weekly podcast in Spanish. Okay, I'm not going to mess this up. It's Desde Otro Cero, and its alter ego in English is From Another Zero. It's a safe space dedicated to the arts and the industry. My Spanish skills aren't that bad from high school, right? Alejandra?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Vega. How are you? Thank you for that introduction. Muchas gracias por esa introducción.
De nada.
I am very happy to be the first guest host and moderator for this series. Muy contenta de ser la primera invitada moderadora de esta serie, and very happy to introduce the first guest, Valeria Vega, actress, artist, and entrepreneur. I'm going to read a little bit about her before we see her beautiful face. Estoy muy contenta de presentar a la primera invitada de esta serie, de Creative Youth Studio, el estudio creativo para jóvenes, Valeria Vega, que es actriz, artista, barista y empresaria. Voy a leer un poquito antes de que veamos su cara hermosa. Valeria graduated from Centro de Artes Escénicas del Noroeste in Tijuana and started her career as an actress in 1999. She has participated in numerous plays as a member of different theater companies such as Grupo Ojo, Grupo Las Diablas, Teatro de León, and Tijuana Hace Teatro. Valeria se graduó del Centro de Artes Escénicas del Noroeste en Tijuana, Baja California. Inició su carrera como actriz en 1999 y ha participado en numerosas obras de teatro como miembro de diferentes compañías que son Grupo Ojo, Grupo Las Diablas, Teatro de León y Tijuana Hace Teatro. She is the owner and promoter of Café Dionisio en Tijuana, an independent cultural coffee shop dedicated to showcase all the artistic movement in the city and all its disciplines since 2012. Es la dueña y promotora de Café Dionisio en la ciudad de Tijuana, un café independiente y cultural dedicado a mostrar todo el movimiento artístico en la ciudad y sus disciplinas desde el año de 2012. In January 2012, she began her work with the Old Globe in San Diego, California, as a bilingual teaching artist in the Arts Engagement Department. And in 2019, she joined Bocón Arts in San Diego with their work in the community and as a teaching artist. En enero de 2018, Valeria inició su trabajo en el Old Globe en San Diego como un artista docente bilingüe en el Departamento de Enlace a las Artes. Y en 2019 se unió a Bocón Arts también en San Diego con el trabajo en la comunidad y también como artista docente. Valeria, bienvenida, welcome.
Muchas gracias, Alejandra. Thank you so much for the invitation. That was a very warm introduction. Y estoy feliz de estar acá con este maravilloso programa enfocado en la juventud, en los adolescentes. Y pues vamos a hablar un poquito de lo que amamos hacer. Así que estoy feliz.
Qué bueno, yo también, más feliz estoy yo. I'm even happier because it's great to be hosting this first episode of this series with you. Me encanta estar haciendo esta serie, estar contigo en el primer episodio de esta serie. Y pues vamos a empezar ahora sí que por el principio. Let's start from the beginning. ¿Cómo inició todo, Valeria?
Oh, Dios mío, that was a long, long, long time ago. Oh my God, fue hace mucho tiempo, pero es algo que tengo, tú sabes, presente toda mi vida, porque fue un parteaguas a lo que es mi vida ahorita. It happened a long time ago, but I still have it so present because it really was the moment that my life changed to what it is right now. And we were talking about this, Alejandra, and I was talking to Vietka about the importance, obviously, the audience that we were going to have for this program, and talk about the hows, the do's, that maybe the don'ts, or the struggles that we live as artists. And in this case, as an artist from another country, an artist with another first language. So it all started when I was young, very young. I would say a little bit like in my 16th. Todo empezó cuando estaba muy joven, cuando
Mírala qué bonita.
aproximadamente 16 años, cuando no sabía qué quería hacer de mi vida. At that moment in my life, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And I just want to bring that out right now, because I just want to say it's okay. It's okay not to know what you want to do if you're 16, even if you're 17, even if you're 18. At that point in my life, here in Tijuana, in Mexico, unfortunately, we didn't have arts program in our schools. So when I was growing up, I never encountered anything that had to do with arts. Yo cuando iba creciendo, pues no teníamos acá programas dedicados a las artes. Entonces yo en lo personal nunca había experimentado algo que tuviera que ver con las artes. Me encantaba participar en todo lo que pudiera participar, que tuviera que ver una presentación. En ese entonces yo te comentaba, ¿no? Yo le decía a mi mamá, mamá, necesito tal disfraz, necesito tal cosa, porque pues me encantaba estar ahí presentándome en lo que pudiera, en los bailables, en los musicales, en los recitales, en todo lo que pudiera. Pero finalmente no había una clase, no había una guianza de lo que tuviera que ver, o actuación, o artes escénicas, o algo que pudiera yo decir, oh, eso es lo que estaba buscando toda mi vida. So because I didn't know, because I didn't encounter anything that had to do with this before in my life, obviously I was struggling with what I wanted to do with my life. My sister and my brother knew like completely what they wanted to do, and there was something completely different, and I always felt that I was different. Yo siempre me sentía diferente, and I didn't understand why, and I got frustrated with myself, and even my rebel kind of stage emerged because I didn't understand who I was. So that's something like the first thing that I want to bring up. It's okay to not know what you want to do, not know what you can do at a certain point in your life. Once you get there, it's like that. You're going to feel it in an instant. And that's what precisely happened. One of my very good friends, she was 1 year older than me. She found this performing arts school here in Tijuana. And she told me that the classes were great. She was having the best time of her life. There were great people studying with her. And I was listening to her when she was explaining the whole thing. And I was like, oh my God, I think that's it for me. I think I want to experiment that as well. Entonces mi amiga me está diciendo, es que esta escuela, Valeria, está maravillosa, es lo mejor ahorita que está en México, los mejores maestros, es ahora que sí algo que yo me siento cómoda haciendo, es un lugar donde yo me siento contenta estando. So I went ahead and said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and ask questions, ask whatever I need to know, like to see if I'm going to enroll. I went by myself. Obviously, nobody knew anything. I'm very mysterious in that way.
Secreto.
Because I didn't know what I wanted, of course, and I was not going to tell my mom, hey, Mom, I want to try this if I didn't know it, like for sure, right?
Yeah.
So I had to know it. I had to have like hear the feeling in my heart that it was it. So I went to the school by myself, and they were like, yes, for this date, you have to come here, and you have to prepare a monologue. You're going to have an interview, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, A monologue. I was 18 and I didn't know what a monologue was because I never had encountered acting classes, theater classes, nothing back in 1998. Entonces yo, Valeria, toda inocente, que es un monólogo, pues es algo que yo digo sola, es algo que yo actúo sola, no por la sola palabra. Entonces yo en ese entonces, Alejandra, yo escribía mucho, curiosamente, porque era mi única forma de yo expresarme, de expresar mis emociones, lo que pensaba, y yo no entendía por qué, porque era de alguna manera yo queriendo ventilarme artísticamente o manifestarme artísticamente en ese entonces, porque yo desconocía que tenía ese lado en mí. Entonces yo escribía mucho, 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 mucho. Y uno de los escritos que había hecho me lo memoricé así completito, duraba aproximadamente unos 3 a 5 minutos. Me lo memoricé, lo practiqué en el espejo. Ya fui el día de mi audición y enfrente del director y 2 de los maestros me senté, no me moví, Alejandra, o sea, no me moví para nada, estaba sentada en la silla. I didn't move, I just recited, I just
You memorized everything and then you just like
everything. I was like, I'm gonna, because it was something that I wrote to somebody. Obviously, the feeling and the emotion was there. Obviously, like the realistic acting was there because I was doing something of my own creation. So I think that that's what they saw. Even though I didn't move from my chair, I think that's what they saw, like the interpretation of the little poem, because I didn't even have a style of writing. I just wrote because I didn't know how before. So the interpretation part of what they saw, I think that's what would grasp it. And finally, when I started going class by class, getting to know my classmates, my family now, that was the point in my life for this, back in the day, 18-year-old girl, that I knew where I belonged. And I said to myself, I never want to leave this place. This is my home. This is what makes me happy. And this is what makes my heart beat faster and brighter and better. So, sí, o sea, es algo, te digo, o sea, fue hace 22 años y lo siento y lo vivo. La piel chinita, y me emociono al contarlo. Ese es el momento en que encuentras donde perteneces y dices, aquí quiero estar toda mi vida, aquí yo soy buena, aquí estoy bien y todo puede pasar. You can conquer anything, everything in this place.
Lo puedes conquistar todo y eso era lo que hacía tu corazón latir y supiste desde el principio. You knew from the very beginning. So that's awesome. And also, Valeria, we're talking in your bio about you being an entrepreneur and a barista. So your wonderful backdrop over there. Estamos hablando de tu fase como empresaria y de barista y vemos tu fondo hermoso allá atrás. Café Dionisio. Dionisio, el dios del vino, el dios del teatro. Café Dionisio is the Greek god of wine and theater. But there's another twist to this story. Hay otro punto aquí en esta historia de por qué se llama Dionisio el café. Tell us about it. Cuéntanos de Café Dionisio.
Sí, pues Dionisio también es curiosamente, el nombre de mi abuelo. Todo estaba predestinado y yo sin saber. Soy ahora sí la única artista en mi familia, la única que se dedica a las artes escénicas o algún tipo de disciplina artística. Pero mi abuelo se llamaba Dionisio y para mí mi familia lo es todo. My family for me is really everything. And my grandfather was a role figure of love, of family, of strength, of support. So for me, everything that has to do with this place that is my baby, my all, obviously I had to put something that was my all as well. And it's obviously my career and my family. And going back again, 20-something years ago, when we started doing this theater business in Tijuana, back in the days, being an independent company was very difficult to work. No podíamos encontrar un trabajo sólido, y si lo encontrábamos era básicamente por nosotros mismos y sin tener nada de ganancia ni nada de solvencia económica por nuestro trabajo. So we started struggling a lot, but we were working. We wanted to work. We wanted to showcase our work, our plays, however we could. If it was for 10 people, for 15 people, for just our family and friends, it didn't matter. We just needed to present our work. So back in the days, I was working with 2 local independent companies, Teatro Las Diablas, as you mentioned, and Grupo Ojo. Entonces empiezo a trabajar simultáneamente mientras estoy estudiando, trabajando y ensayando con 2 compañías independientes hambrientas por trabajar y por presentarnos y por hacer teatro. Y de alguna manera empezar con público, poquito público, mínimo público, pero empezar a hacer trabajo. En ese entonces los foros, pues eran foros, espacios, teatros grandes, ¿no? Que nosotros como compañías locales pues no íbamos a poder, era imposible rentar en ese entonces un secut, ¿no? Para presentar una obra local. Entonces siempre nos topábamos con pared. No, we didn't have opportunities of where to present ourselves.
But you needed to present your work. That's the other thing. It was,
how are we going to start? How are we eventually going to run a big theater if we're not going to have like the opportunity of even presenting ourselves in a small theater? So the idea of owning an independent venue, little venue, sparked when I was approximately 20 and I was struggling as a young artist. So I had to associate what makes me happy and how can I eventually impact and help and venture a business with the arts, related to the arts, and focusing and promoting the arts, especially here in Tijuana, that it's very diverse and it's very artistic, as several of us know. Sabemos que nuestra ciudad es sumamente artística y cultural, de todo, música, danza, pintura, teatro, obviamente. But we don't have the platform. We don't have the platform to showcase our art. So as we have spoken before, Alejandra, I always had a plan B, right? And my plan B was working in something that wasn't related with arts, something that helped me have income to eventually fulfill my dream, because I knew it was a phase. I knew that I had to work very hard, and something that maybe wasn't going to make me all that happy, but was going to create that extra knowledge that I eventually was going to need if I was going to venture to do something else with my life, bigger, greater with my life. Entonces yo sabía que tenía que trabajar de alguna manera, que las obras no me iban a, ahora sí, dar el ingreso que yo necesitaba para ir guardando, ¿no? Teniendo un ahorro, teniendo un poco de ingreso para lo que yo visionaba ya a esa edad, de lo que yo quería ser. Yo quería vivir de las artes 100%, pero yo sabía que en esa época no lo iba a poder cumplir, entonces tuve que acudir a mi plan B y decir, a trabajarle, Valeria, a trabajarle en retail, a trabajarle de administradora, que me sirvió muchísimo, porque de alguna manera empecé a dialogar un mundo que yo desconocía, un mundo administrativo que yo desconocía por completo, que de repente hacer nómina, que de repente cobranza, de repente hacer pagos. Todo eso inconscientemente me iba caminando a un camino que eventualmente yo iba a recurrir con Café Dionisio.
Yeah. So you had to do a little, sorry, doing the translation here. You had to do a little bit of everything. You went into retail, you went into accounting, and trying to get that income in order to continue fulfilling your career as an actress, or to start that path in acting.
Yes, and I always knew it was going to be a phase. As I mentioned, it was my plan B that it was there, and of course, it was knowledge that I was going to need, and whatever knowledge you can bring to me this way, I love it, and it's like bring it on.
Mm-hmm.
So when the opportunity finally came back in 2012, I was by then 32, to open something. I saw this venue, and it was nothing. You're going to see the images right now of what was Café Dionisio. The venue was open to rent, and I saw the space, and all of a sudden it was always in my head. I just closed my eyes and saw the magnificence of what could it be. And not only the magnificence in aesthetics, but the impact that it would be in the city, and the impact that it would be on the local community, the artist community here in my hometown of Tijuana. As you're seeing, that is a beautiful space that was created after the idea. And it's funny, es muy chistoso que cuando se me da la oportunidad de conocer el espacio, yo llego al espacio y como lo vieron ahorita en las imágenes, pues no era nada. Ni siquiera paredes tenía.
It was just an empty space.
It was just an empty, dirty, horrible space. But as an artist, you see the beautiful in everything. You try to envision the beauty of what could it be with everything, right? And because I was submerged with arts since I started my career, this vision came to me like without thinking it. It's funny how our artistic mind works. Sin pensarla, sin yo dedicarme a la arquitectura, al diseño, inclusive, yo cerré los ojos y vi lo maravilloso que podía convertirse ese espacio. Vi una obra de teatro en mi mente. Vi una obra de teatro con la iluminación, con la musicalización, con la utilería, ¿no? Claro. Los muebles, las historias detrás del café. So everything I encountered in that moment. And obviously, the important thing was for me asking, what can I do with this? What can I do with this opportunity that life has given me? And how can I help? How can I help young artists start working, fulfill their dreams, at least showcase what they're doing, at least have the opportunity to somebody to see their beautiful work, and them having the courage of continue working, and the guidance of saying, okay, yeah, I can do this for my life. I can do this with my life. Entonces, sí, para mí era muy importante, si yo iba a hacer algo, si yo iba a emprender en un negocio, el impacto que iba a tener de inmediata consecuencia como a larga consecuencia. El café ya va a cumplir 8 años, y en estos 8 años se han presentado más de 300 eventos que tienen que ver con danza, tienen que ver con exposiciones de fotografía o pintura, tienen que ver con teatro, con música, y estamos hablando de que han venido personas, obviamente, principalmente de la ciudad de Tijuana, pero han venido personas de muchas otras partes, de tanto de todo México también como en Estados Unidos. Y principalmente lo más importante, jóvenes artistas que quieren presentarse, que se están juntando en la casa de uno y dicen, ay, qué padre sería invitar a un público para que nos escuche tocar, o ay, escribí algo que quiero decirlo en voz alta, o ay, tengo una obra, un monólogo que necesito presentar y que quiero empezar a experimentar en presentarme. So after almost 8 years, this October 2020, with everything that is happening, I have to celebrate those 8 years. We've had more than 300 events all around and in all of the disciplines: dance, music, theater, photography, art, everything. And the important thing is not only there's obviously the showcases people from Tijuana, but there's been people from all over Mexico and also the US. For particular, all of the people that have presented themselves here are young artists that have the opportunity, that have a place that they can come and work and have fun and get paid.
Exactly. Very important. Muy importante. It's a safe space, Valeria. You've created a safe space for artists all over, and they can come and showcase their work. Es un espacio seguro que has creado para que los artistas vengan y enseñen su trabajo. Pues, qué mejor.
Yes. And it's something that it's you always have to have that in the back of your mind, and that's very important. Of why are you doing this? Obviously, it's related to a dream. Obviously, it's something that you want to live with all your life, but you have to understand the struggles and the difficulties that are going to come with throwing, I would say, most of your worth's income, like in the period of time that you've worked, to a dream. But if that dream is strong and it's present with you all the time, then everything is going to have a meaning. Todo tiene un porqué. Y el estar todos los días batallando y de repente decir, wow, todo lo que guardé, todo lo que ahorré, ¿realmente valdrá la pena? ¿Será algo? ¿Me estoy equivocando? Cuando pasan estas cosas, y más ahorita lo que estamos viviendo, Alejandra, de esto completamente externo, ahora sí que nos cayó como bomba a todos.
Sí.
Es una reafirmación diaria de por qué uno tiene que hacer lo que le dice el corazón. And I always talk to you about this. I always go with what my heart tells me to do. The answers are always here. And having the cafe, in a way, has empowered me to promote the arts, to fulfill my dream. And finally, after working with my plan B for about 10 years, finally in 2012, I am now working 100% arts related, right? Because I'm still acting, thankfully. That's my main thing. I always say, first, I'm an actress. I love theater. I love being on the stage. Amo el teatro, me encanta estar en el escenario. Primero que nada, soy actriz. Segundo que nada, I'm a teaching artist, o artista docente, which I love sharing my knowledge. Third, I'm the entrepreneur, la empresaria, no la mujer empresaria. And fourthly, I'm a barista, because I'm very proud to be a barista. That's something that I encountered and learned because of having the coffee shop. Obviously, I'm a coffee addict. And as you know, I loved coffee. And that's something that had to pair one thing with the other, right? I wanted to venture in a business that obviously was going to be an independent cultural venue. But what was the separate other version of the business? What was going to sell? What was going to have the employees paying the rent, paying everything, not necessarily just the events, because the events are like helping the community, the artistic community. Entonces tenía que de alguna manera hilar estas dos cosas de, ok, un negocio, sí, un foro cultural independiente, pero ¿qué va a mantener el foro cultural independiente? ¿Qué va a pagar la renta? ¿Qué va a pagar los sueldos de los empleados? Pues necesito vender café, necesito vender algo, pues café, que es lo que me encanta. Y empiezo a aventurarme a este mundo del café, que también es otro tema, es otro arte, es otro amor increíble. Y pues me convierto en esta amante de tomar y ahora también preparar café y saber prepararte tu café y cremar y todo, y el amor que se presta. And that's a thing that's when you understand that you love what you do. and you love what you have. And a lot of people always ask me, but why, Valeria, you are there all the time? You have other baristas, you have people that can work. And I'm like, because it's mine, because I created it. Yo quiero estar aquí todo el tiempo. Aquí estoy ahorita, desde temprano. Y es lo que me hace feliz poder ya por fin vivir una vida que tenga que ver con las artes, que tenga que ver con mi pasión y mi dedicación a esto.
This is so inspiring, and nos inspira escucharte, Valeria, and I think also for our young viewers, para los jóvenes que nos están viendo, because this was created for them, the series is for them, esta serie fue creada para ellos. The takeaway, un poquito de la conclusión de lo que estás platicando ahorita is the hustle. It's very important. El trabajo continuo, el estar dándole, ¿no? Ruleteando. And also perseverance. Seguir perseverando y seguir fijo en tu camino. Continue on your journey and resisting, right? This is a thing of resistance, and that's how you are, you got to where you are today. Entonces esto es de resistencia, y esta es la manera en cómo tú llegaste a donde estás ahora.
See, and going back, this is something that the arts gave me. It's something that in particular theater gave me. This hustle, right? This kind of strength of one seeing the beauty in everything, or seeing the beautiful in everything, and hustling and being very patient also in what you want to do, but also always hustle your way to it. Always understanding that you have to know all of it. You have to know the wheres, the ins and outs, and you have to venture in everything that has to do with theater. That's how we learned here in Mexico and in Tijuana. Estás en todo. O sea, empiezas a hacer una obra y estás en el vestuario, estás en la iluminación, estás en la escenografía,
o sea, vendiendo boletos,
estás haciendo tus relaciones públicas, estás en la venta. You're doing it all. And that's what, in a young age, when I started studying theater, it created like that state of mind, which is natural to me now in my entrepreneur side, that it's the way you have to do it. It's the only way that I know how to do it. So that is a trait that the arts in particular have given me in my life. And I love it, and I'm so appreciative of it.
It's a very rewarding field. Apremia realmente las artes. Valeria, que el tiempo corre. Sadly, time goes by, and I can talk to you forever. Puedo hablar contigo así toda la vida. Teaching artist, artista docente. What is that? How do you eat that? ¿Qué es ese artista docente? ¿Con qué se come? How did you become one? Y si nos puedes explicar un poquito, ¿cómo te convertiste en un artista docente? ¿Cómo entraste en ese campo? Y si nos puedes explicar un poquito.
Yes, claro que sí. I didn't know that I was a teaching artist until 2018. That was the weird thing about it. I started teaching back in 2011 when a private academy, approached me that they needed an acting teacher for their musical theater program. So I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, I had ventured in teaching previously when I was very young. Some of my teachers always asked me, oh, Valeria, I'm going to be out. Can you please help me and sub for me? I was always subbing. And I didn't at the time wanted to dedicate myself to teaching, but it's something that came easily. And it's a thing that I want to point out. Even though you're the best in something, doesn't necessarily give you the strength to teach it or to share it, I would say. Because in my perspective, I've always wanted to share my knowledge, not teach it. I don't approach a classroom to teach you how to do this. I approach always a classroom to share what I've been through or what I've known so far or everything that life has thrown at me, and I've grasped it and understood it and loved it. So teaching artist, you're always an artist, but you teach your art. That's something that we have to always understand. You never stop being an artist. An artist in the essence of what you love, what you're passionate about. And that's what you're sharing. Es lo que compartes al ser artista docente. Siempre eres artista. Nunca dejas de ser el artista. Pero estás compartiendo ese conocimiento, ese amor, esa pasión, esa entrega que con el tiempo, la vida, la enseñanza, los cursos, los talleres, la escuela, todo lo que has absorbido, de alguna manera ya lo puedes tú representar, contar, manifestar, compartir, que es muy difícil, como mencionaba ahorita. Me queda muy en claro que puedes ser buenísimo en lo que eres, puedes ser el mejor abogado, puedes ser el mejor doctor, pero no necesariamente eso te da la habilidad para compartir lo que sabes. No te da el don. Es una habilidad que uno tiene que reconocer si la tiene o no. Y cuando llegas a reconocerla, que estar en un salón de clase con 1, 2, 3, 30 personas y estar hable de lo que te apasiona y de alguna manera hacerlos que eso tenga sentido. Hacerlo que eso digan, wow, esto también puede ser para mí. Es finalmente a mí lo que me dice, curiosamente, uno mueve como actor, como actriz, mueves a tu público, ¿no? Los traes en un vaivén emocional al momento que les estás contando una historia y los atraviesas por cosas, reflexiones, pensamientos que al igual y la vida diaria nunca los va a atravesar, porque nunca los van a exponerte de esa manera. De alguna manera ya estás haciendo un impacto, ¿no? Como artista. Pero como artista docente me veo cumpliendo mi misión de vida. Es muy curioso. I see myself as a teaching artist, fulfilling my life goal or my life dream or my mission in life, I would say. Even though as an actress, I get to move, I get to tell stories, I get to make people reflect on what they're seeing, what they're feeling, what they're experimenting with the play. But as a teaching artist, I see myself moving more the soul of the human in front of me. And either if it's a hobby, either if it's I want to try this out, either it's, you know what, I've never done anything that's related to arts. Let me see what this woman wants to share with me. Either or, I see myself accomplishing that mission. It's powerful, it's strong, and you have to have the willingness to do it. Tienes que tener esa necesidad de compartir.
That's what's theater so important. You just mentioned it right now, that you show people things or situations that they never could have found themselves in if they hadn't seen that play or that monologue or that lesson that you taught that day, ¿no? Lo que estás diciendo de gente que no hubiera vivido, por decirlo de alguna manera, una situación, si no se los hubieras presentado en esa obra, en ese monólogo, en la clase que impartiste o la introducción como artista docente, ¿no? And I have to say, tengo que decir, I'm sorry, estamos pajareando a todo lo que da Valeria y yo, porque tenemos pantallas en todos lados y gente que nos está diciendo para poder compartir y verlos a todos ustedes en sus comentarios bonitos y saludos que nos están mandando. I have a wondering eye. My wondering eye is worse than Valeria. So we have different screens and people telling us questions and stuff because we want to get to all of you and your wonderful comments and questions that we are going to get to in a minute. Pues, Valeria, creo que con todo esto que hemos estado platicando, hemos casi cubierto todo. Has compartido tu saber tu experiencia. You've shared your knowledge and your life journey in the arts. Why are arts so important? ¿Por qué son tan importantes las artes? Something that we need to continue to push.
Yeah.
Lo que tenemos que seguir moviendo. Y lo que quieres seguir haciendo con tu negocio. What you want to accomplish with your business. ¿Algo más que gustes agregar o tratar antes de pasar a las preguntas y respuestas? Anything else that you would like to add?
Well, como hablábamos hace ratito, algo importante para mí son unas preguntas que yo misma me he hecho o me han hecho en el periodo de mi carrera, que son importantes. A series of questions that I've been asked or I've asked myself in this pursuit of fulfilling my dream. And the answers may change, obviously, with experience.
And I think they should. Me parece
and they
que
should,
deberían, ¿no?
because you add more stuff to them, right? So always one of the questions, and one of the questions that I want to share with all of you, and also if you want to comment with that question or add your response to it, everybody that's watching us right now, todos los que nos están viendo ahorita, también les comparto esta pregunta a ustedes. Y también si tienen la respuesta, hay que compartirla, porque pues finalmente se va agregando. Una de las preguntas es, ¿por qué las artes son tan importantes? Why are arts so important? Y como yo lo mencionaba hace ratito, esto ha cambiado, pero a mí las artes me hacen ver la belleza en todo, even in the darkest places. They make me see the light, even in the darkest places. They make me see the beauty of life, even when it's darkest outside. So for me, that's why arts are so important. Another one is, and it's very important, this one, what do you want to manifest through arts? ¿Qué queremos manifestar?
A través de las artes,
A través de las artes. Ahora sí, esto es completamente relevante a cada persona. Yo, en lo personal, yo quiero manifestar lo bello de ser un humano. How to be a human being. That's what I want to manifest. The personification of being human and all its facets. That's what I love to venture every time that I'm creating a character, every time that I'm trying to tell a story, every time that I'm encounter myself as a teaching artist. I want to meet your human self and see the beautiful side of your human self. So, esa es otra pregunta súper importante. Me encanta ver el lado humano de las personas, el lado bellamente humano que todos tenemos. Todos tenemos muy dentro de nosotros.
Sí.
Otra pregunta es muy importante, como lo hablábamos ahorita. Do you see yourself sharing your knowledge? ¿Te ves compartiendo tu conocimiento? ¿Te ves sumergido en el acto de generosidad? It's an act of complete generosity. There's nothing there. There's no I am. There's no ego. There's no, this is what I'm going to bring to you because I know this, because of that. No, it's, let's share something together today. And do you see yourself sharing without any effort and just with the purest of your heart, that knowledge? And as you mentioned, as you asked me, I want to accomplish, if you want to entrepreneur in something, if you want to have a business, that in a way it's related to focusing on arts, or in a way it's related to focusing on what you want to do or what you love to do. If you like to bake cakes, if you like to bake cookies, if you like to, if you write, and if you can have like a little poetry, corner shop, deli, whatever you envision yourself, but you have to love what you're doing from the side of, okay, I want to do this. I love this. So I'm going to put it together with this because I love promoting the arts. In my case, that is still my accomplishment here at the business, at the coffee shop, promoting the local artist, the young artist, and filling the space with art all the time, incessantly, like making people consume art willingly or unwillingly, but you're having your cup of coffee and you're seeing an art, you're seeing a photography of somebody that manifested their vision there in an instant. So you're consuming art in a way, and you're drinking your coffee, your delicious cup of coffee también. Entonces estás consumiendo
Subliminal, metiéndole el arte a la gente.
Aparte de que está lleno de libros, el café, o sea, estás tomando tu taza de café deliciosa, pero estás leyendo.
Chicos, deliciosa, ¿eh?
Estás leyendo, estás viendo arte, o de pronto hay un evento que es lecturas en voz alta, donde varias personas vienen y se paran a leer y están leyendo lo que escribieron. Entonces las personas se quedan, ok, ¿qué está pasando? Van a empezar un ritual aquí, algo raro, pero no, la gente se queda a escuchar porque los abrimos a un panorama de vida distinta a la que uno está acostumbrada a vivir. Entonces, esas son las preguntas que quería yo lanzar a nuestros espectadores. Those were the questions that I wanted to put out there to our audience today. That for me, I think are still guiding me. And the answers are always, of course, ever changing, but they're always present. And they're always strong and powerful. They have to be.
And the reflection that we have to get to also. Do you love your work reflection? Which, you know, pretty self-explanatory, but let's do it. Si amas el trabajo que haces, Valeria.
Yes. If you love your work, you're never going to work a day in your life. That's one of the phrases that I love. Es una de las frases que me mueve constantemente. Yo todos los días agradezco que yo no trabajo ningún día, aunque después de 20 horas llegue a la casa, aunque después de 20 horas me ponga mis pijamas y ya me acueste a descansar, yo considero que yo no estoy trabajando ningún día de mi vida porque hago lo que amo. Del solo hecho de levantarme, meterme ahorita en la nueva modalidad de cómo estamos trabajando como actores, ¿no?
Claro.
Me meto a nuestras juntas virtuales, a nuestros ensayos virtuales, lecturas, ya lo que tengamos que hacer. Lo hago desde mi casa o me vengo para acá al café a trabajar un poquito más tranquila. Todo lo que tiene que ver con mi vida, todo lo que tiene que ver con mi vida laboral es mi pasión. Entonces, sí, yes, I love my work.
Y qué bueno que lo tocas. This is good for you to touch upon because our first question, going on to the Q&A, because again, el tiempo apremia. It says, how do you see this pandemic affecting the theater? ¿Cómo ves esta pandemia afectando al teatro?
Ha sido muy severa esta pandemia con nosotros los artistas en general. Artistas docentes. En mi caso, por donde lo vean, me llovió, me tronó. Como artista, se suspendieron las funciones que teníamos en puerta, se suspendieron los ensayos que teníamos. Como maestra, se suspendieron mis contratos de las clases que tenía presenciales. En el negocio, el establecimiento lo tuve que cerrar por unos meses, en lo que decidíamos qué hacer, qué seguro hacer. It is a difficulty. It really poured in our life, field.
In all areas you were mentioning, right?
In all areas, Alejandra, because as all of you know right now, all of my areas, my acting area, it was devastated. I had a presentation that it was canceled. I had a presentation a week prior before everything started canceling. So that was canceled. We started rehearsals. So our first rehearsal was via Zoom for the first time in our lives. So in that part, in that facet of my life as an actor, everything got stopped, or we were struggling on how are we going to continue working. in my teaching artist phase, also all of my contracts that we had, fortunately, I had a lot of work, like presential classes and with the community that we already had planned, that we already were scheduled.
Mm-hmm.
Well, those were stopped. Like all of a sudden, one day, we're out of business, right? And then the coffee shop, until we knew that it was safe, like the takeout, like to-go service, I didn't know what was safe at that point. So I had to close the coffee shop for 3 months. So this pandemic has been devastating, but again, those questions have sparked this strengthening me of continue doing what I love, because finally this is what removed me from not going down and from not suffering it as maybe I would have suffered it without having the arts with me, behind me, besides me, in front of me, backing
And now virtually.
And now virtually.
Sí, o sea, te han seguido impulsando las artes por donde la veas y no has sufrido lo que hubieras sufrido con la ausencia de ellas.
Es imposible, te dan una fuerza y esta habilidades, talking about abilities that they give you, improvisar, solve. You have to problem solve all the time. You're improvising all the time. So that's nothing that's new to most of us. Yes, and the hustle that we were talking about.
Veníamos diciendo, exacto.
That keeps us alive and working, or at least trying to make something out of this whole ordeal that we're all living.
Exacto, entonces continuar trabajando y seguir tratando de sacar algo a pesar de todo este asunto que estamos viviendo a nivel mundial, ¿verdad?
Sí.
And second question, if I want to work in the U.S. as a Mexican artist, are there any artistic fellowship programs you know or you could recommend? Si quiero trabajar en Estados Unidos como artista mexicano, ¿hay algunos programas artísticos que conozcas, que puedas recomendar?
Hay muchos programas locales, sobre todo en la comunidad, que pueden empezar a aventurar, a explorar. Yo siempre recomiendo, and this is something that happened to me personally, because as you know, I just barely started working in the US as of 2018, like professionally, because I had the courage to do it. And we didn't talk about this, Alejandra, how I became the teaching artist. It went to another thing. But when I decided to become a teaching artist, thanks to your pushing me to venture in the United States, it's just doing it. It's just, don't be scared of going to another country. It's different. All of everything that it has to do with theater, there's a lot of aspects and features, and obviously the people that you know, the people that you don't know, everything is very different. But you don't have to be scared, because you have the knowledge and you have the passion, and particularly you have the willingness to do it. So there's a lot of community groups that focus on, if you as an actor or you as an artist want to start working, just get to know pretty much the organizations that are backing specifically BIPOC community artists, and that can in a way help minorities like us Mexicans, to fulfill our dream in another country, even though we're from here, from Tijuana, even though everything that we've done, learned, accomplished has been in a different country.
Exactly.
Don't be scared of it. Just do it. And the old globe is a very good example.
Exacto, que la gente que esté interesada en hacerlo busque organizaciones culturales, artísticas, en donde artistas de color, artistas de diferentes lugares estén desempeñando la labor, seguirlos, dirigirse a ellos, y esa es la manera, y el Old Globe es uno de esos grandes ejemplos. Y sí que lo es, así que síganlo.
Old Globe con Arts as well as doing a magnificent job. Tuyo, in a way, it's doing a magnificent job.
Yeah.
There's a local, also independent theater companies. Moxie Theater is doing also an excellent job. Diversionary. There's a lot of, once you venture into this world and you're not scared of going into it, all the doors are open. It's impressive how strong and also warm felt the community, the theater community in San Diego is. I was scared of the Globe before. Seriously. I used to go there when I was young and I was like, oh my God, this is a dream for me. This is a dream so far away from me. And now I see myself going to work when we could go to Balboa Park, right? And we were going to the office and stuff. Every day that I went to the office, I was like, I can't believe this dream came true. Because I trusted in myself and I trusted in what I could do with my knowledge.
Dreams do come true. Los sueños sí se cumplen. Hay que con trabajo, with hard work, they come true. So we have our third and final question. With the U.S. race issues right now, how do you think it affects artists in our border town? Dice aquí, con las situaciones de racismo, de raza en Estados Unidos actualmente, ¿cómo crees que afecta a los artistas en nuestra ciudad fronteriza?
Wow, qué pregunta. Este es un tema que tristemente no puedo decir que está cambiando. Quisiera decir que está cambiando. Quisiera decir que no existe. Quisiera decir que no existe cierto término de que sea un problema o una dificultad. I wish I could say that the difficulty doesn't exist, but it does. That's the reality of things. I see it affecting less because there's more people in a position that can help that are helping. There's more people in big theater organizations that are turning this way and turning everywhere to look of what you can do as an artist, not by the way you speak, not because of your accent, not because of your skin color, but just because you are a magnificent human that's trying to fulfill a dream and that you can do it. So it will continue. That is something that we cannot just blindsided say, oh no, it's going to be perfect, blah, blah, blah. You can do this, blah, this and that. It's something that's there, but we have to make it there and we have to realize that it's there. And once we see that it exists, what we can do with that in our favor.
Muy bien, Valeria. Enfocarnos como seres humanos y no enfocarnos en un acento o en un idioma, sino en una cuestión de talento y de trabajo. Muy bien. I am so happy, so glad to have done this first episode with you. Thank you to the Old Globe. Muy contenta de haber conducido, moderado este episodio contigo. Muchas gracias al Old Globe. Thank you to Vega Doe and the Arts Engagement Department for inviting me. Muchas gracias a Vega Doe en el Departamento de Enlace a las Artes por invitarme. And we will see you in the next one. Take it away, Vietka. Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much. That was such a really amazing conversation. And, we could tell that you two are really close because you have such a good natural vibe going. But thank you so much to everyone who tuned in. This will be a weekly series. So please come back next week on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube Live at 11 o'clock to noon. Next week's will be hip hop based. And so you'll see some programs being advertised for that coming up soon. Thank you to everyone. Thank you, Valeria. Thank you, Alejandra. And we will see you next week. Take care.